podcast studios. This is After 9 with Scott and Kat.
Hello, friends. Solo show today. Dave ended up definitely injuring himself, as I figured he would. So it's just myself here on the pod. And to be honest with you, I'm going to keep it kind of brief because I have to get my winter tires put on. It's always a crappy time of year, isn't it? It's kind of exciting to get the summers on, even though nobody likes to wait for that, if you're the type that waits around at dealerships and such. However, here we are. Winter is coming eventually, I think, anyway, so I'm going to get that done today. Dave, I'll tell you about Dave real quick. So Dave was considering, or wanted to, I should say. He did want to join the show with me this morning, too, when we had our radio show this morning, and he said, if I can manage to, I will. But honestly, he was in pain, and I could tell, and I could hear it in his wincing and whatnot. And sure enough, he did crack a rib. Actually, I'll tell you exactly what he texted me. He texted, diagnosis, cracked rib. Gave me pain helpers. But other than that, I got off pretty easy. So that's good. He should recover okay. But although he did set his alarm to come in and everything else early for the show, which would have meant the podcast too for a little bit, the meds made for a rough night. And he said he'll spare the details, which I appreciate. I don't think that we need to get any of those details. But man, between Scott's surgery was planned. So there is that. But between Dave's injury and Scott being gone, I got to bubble wrap myself, and hopefully we can make it through the week together. Wouldn't that be nice? And I think I'll try to do a podcast with Octavia. Now, listen, Octavia, I love when she gets the chance to join us. She's so busy, though, because we have 4 shows and spread out throughout Ontario, as most of you guys know. So she does a ton of work behind the scenes, organizing us and getting all of those shows in place so that they play, and she's very important when it comes to the Scott and Kat show. So I'm going to try to see if she has availability. There may not be a pod tomorrow. I'm going to warn you now. But by Thursday, I'm going to see if we might be able to do a pod with myself and Octavia. And who knows, maybe Dave will be able to make it in just for the pod at some point this week. Nonetheless, a couple of things I wanted to talk to you guys about. I've never been scammed by tickets, but to be honest with you, I'm a skeptical person by nature. So I don't think that I would assume things are real that seem too good to be true. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of people selling concert tickets right now that realize they can make a lot of money when it comes to the Taylor Swift shows. I think we all realize this. And for example, I had someone text the show, I think I told you guys last week, who sold their tickets, 2 tickets, which I think cost them in total like $600 or something, for $9,000. And you can't blame her. You can't blame her. I think at a certain point, I'd be like, take it. Even if that was my favorite artist. For some people, it's worth it. But she sold it. And that was legit. But there's a lot of people getting scammed right now, especially because people are desperate for these tickets. And I think that's what's leading to the scams. So the police have stepped in only in Halton. So shout out to Halton region. I don't know how deep this investigation is going to go. Because I think I'm of two minds of this. I do feel bad for people that are getting scammed, that believe that, I don't know what it is, a QR code? Like, what do you get? A screenshot of a Ticketmaster, but it's fake? I don't understand how this is working. However, I totally feel bad, especially if you like give someone $800 or something and then you find out it's fake. That's awful. And for a lot of people, that's a lot of money that they just thought that they spent on tickets, and they didn't. They didn't get any tickets. In fact, they just got scammed. So I definitely feel bad. At the same time, I think we need to be so aware of how technology has changed, and that is aiding in the people scamming to get your money. So please be so careful, because we still have a few shows to go this week, and I have a feeling there's going to be more people than this. But Halton police say specifically, and this is just one region of police, they received 40 complaints so far involving fraudulent or non-existent tickets involving the same vendor. And I think this is I think it's a group of people. That's what I think. I think this is a group of people that use potentially one Facebook account, or maybe there's multiple Facebook accounts, but I think it's a group working together here. They say the total value of the tickets was more than $70,000. Someone should be put to jail for that, for sure. I mean, that is straight up scamming. But again, we just definitely need to be careful. The reason why I say that is because I don't think these people are going to get caught. I think it's serious enough that I'm glad that they're looking into it and investigating. But I also know how much is on the plate of different police forces out there and different crimes that are occurring. There are people that are being invaded in their homes. All of those things deserve investigation. Online, you sent your money to someone you shouldn't have. You e-transfer them. You learned a lesson, So at the least, hopefully a lot of people learned. And it's too bad. It does suck. Like I said, I do feel bad for the people. But to a certain extent, police are probably, most of them, I don't think are going to do very much. But Halton says they're investigating. So that's, hey, if they could catch the person, great. Do I think that those people will be able to recoup all their money? Maybe not. I don't know where the money is now. I don't know if they know. A couple other things in entertainment before I get to some other stuff. I am really excited right now about the amount of biopics that are coming out. We have the Michael Jackson biopic in the works right now, and that's been pushed a bit, but they're filming and everything, but they just pushed the release date. And it's Jafar Jackson, I believe his name is, which is Michael Jackson's nephew, that totally looks like a young Michael Jackson. Like, unbelievable. If you haven't seen these photos, you can Google them. They're Googleable. And he's going to be playing it. It's going to be fabulous. Like, blessings with the family. So they're filming it on all the properties that Michael Jackson really was, and his hometown. All those things are happening. But it's been delayed. Fine, though. I'm really excited for it. The other couple that are coming out include Madonna's. That's one that I'm very much looking forward to. This is the one that she announced, I feel like it was at least 2 years ago. Was it longer? Before she decided to do her most recent tour, she said, yes, there's going to be a biopic. I want to do a biopic. And then she was on a search to find her, young Madonna. And Julia Garner, who is such a fantastic actress, who's been in Ozark and many, many more things, ended up getting the part, which is cool. But then they had to pause it because she was going on tour. But they remained in contact. For those who don't know, Julia, who I do believe is quite I don't know if I'll call her a method actor, but she's very much into whatever role she does. So I have no doubt in my mind she's researched the heck out of Madonna, because she certainly wasn't around when Madonna started in the 80s. I think Madonna got maybe even earlier than that. I don't know. But I know in the 80s and 90s she was definitely like the star. So Julia Garner's been on this the entire time. She will remain playing Madonna. But Madonna said recently she's considering turning that biopic she's been working on into a series instead of a movie. She says she wants fans' input first. And by the way she posts this, she doesn't want it. She doesn't actually want the series. She always wanted this to be a movie. But I think what she needs to understand is that I think we're living in a world now where we do like a series. I do. I will binge it. Indeed. If you gave me a movie that was 3 hours or like a 7-episode series, I would take the series because there's more content to watch. Give me the good stuff. And Madonna has a long history. I mean, even her start is incredible. Whether you hate her, I understand. You don't like her, whatever, that's fine. But when you listen to the start, she just up and moved to New York City with nothing, with zip and zilch, and turned into one of the richest at the time pop stars on the planet. And controversial at that. Like, people thought before the term canceled was put out, people thought Madonna's going to get canceled because of the stuff she was doing on stage. But there she stood and there she remained. And she's still out there now. Her music is not as good. I will be honest. I am not a huge fan of the newer Madonna stuff. But I love me some, give me that Material Girl. Give me that Vogue. Give me that. I love it. But aside from that, fine. Cher, by the way, also announcing she's in the works. There's a couple of things in the works for Cher. I know that hasn't there been, it wasn't a biopic, I guess, but there's definitely been movies on Cher. But she's coming out with a memoir very, very soon, and an album too. So there you go. A lot of OG stuff coming to light. Still no end for the Canada Post strike. Holiday season is 5 weeks away. Are they going to figure things out before then? I'm just thinking about the people that occasionally use the mail. You're probably, if you're that person that occasionally uses the mail, you're doing it to mail out Christmas cards, no? So that's going to impact them. But they already say that the strike has certainly impacted Canada Post because a lot of businesses have had to literally reroute everything through other people. Whether if you have PS, FedEx, whatever, you can, private firms as well. Like Dragonfly. What the heck is Dragonfly? I got a package delivered from Dragonfly not long ago too. Anyway, there's a lot of different delivery companies out there that are willing to take that and run with it. So I worry about that for them. But nonetheless, the workers are standing firm here. They did not come to an agreement, obviously. Yesterday they met. I think they're going to meet again this week at some point in time, if I could speak. But they're still far apart at the table, apparently. Again, I think it's just, at this point, it's only impacting businesses. I don't really think it's impacting the average person. I'll tell you that much right now. But here's what I did realize with this Canada Post strike. You could need the help so damn badly from your service provider of any kind. Any kind. You want someone to come to your house to fix something. It's your TV people. It's the city you got to call because something's going on with this, or your water's funny and you call people and you need help. And it's sometimes difficult. Their hours are funny. They don't want to answer your call, or you sit on hold forever. But when they realize that this mail strike is impacting some of their payments for the people who pay that OG method where they're waiting for their physical bill in the mail. I know there's a certain demo. There's only a certain demo for that. All of a sudden, I'm getting all the emails. I didn't even know they had my email address, some of these people. Make sure that you know that you still have to pay. Here's the portal to sign up. Okay. Doesn't that bother you? Maybe it's just me. Okay, let's move on to some fun stories here. I like a couple of these. I don't know which ones to go with here. Okay. So I'm a big fan of the Titanic in terms of its history. I love it. I went again to the Titanic Museum in Las Vegas at the Luxor. Fully recommend, if you have any interest in it, to go. It's very cool. And they changed some things around, by the way. I hadn't been for the last time I was in Vegas previous to this, I didn't go. So the time before that, gosh, had to be 7 years ago. And they didn't have stuff that they have now. They've updated it and they've changed some things around. So anyway, go see it if you like that stuff. But I just was reading up on a record that was just set for memorabilia relating to the Titanic that sold at auction for nearly $2 million. It was a pocket watch. So this is actually a really cool story that goes by it. I think anything involved in the Titanic and these stories in history are riveting, fascinating. This pocket watch was given to Captain Arthur Rostron for diverting his passenger ship that fateful night, the RMS Carpathia, to save 700 people who were on the Titanic. And I believe these are the ones that were in the boats. They must have been because they were rich for sure. This was 3 particular women who survived that decided to give him a thank you gift. Now, one of these women was the widow of John Jacob Astor. And if you know anything about that history, you know that's the richest man that died in the disaster. He was extremely loaded. He was friends with all the people that made the Titanic. And the widow decided to gift him a thank you for rescuing them, at least. But yeah, $2 million. Now, in case you're curious, no, it's obviously not from the actual shipwreck itself because you can't do that. You can't actually auction that off to the Gen Pop. Did you know that? I had a great conversation with, I want to call him a curator, but I don't know. He could be a volunteer for all I know. That was at the exhibit, but he knew his stuff. He definitely knew his stuff. And I was asking about how they procure the items. And you have to be certified first and foremost, and you have to go through an entire process with the historic whatever it is, because it involves so many countries. You have to be involved in that. You have to be certified. And then you are able to recoup some of these items only from the certified diving teams that go down and get it. Explorers. I guess that's how it works. So basically you're purchasing, but you're certified to purchase. And they try to spread it out evenly and they try to be fair. But an average person, like I can't just be like, I'm going to buy a mirror that was in one of the rooms. That's why you don't see that often. So that's why this is a bit of a record, because it's different. You're allowed to auction off items that surround it. It just can't be part of the shipwreck. You know what I mean? So $2 million for a pocket watch that probably doesn't work, I think is a pretty good payday for whoever ended up owning it, which I believe was a family member who passed long ago, who was given it by the captain, by Arthur Rostron. But nonetheless, you might as well take the money, I guess. $2 million, not bad. Okay, other things. There was one more thing that I wanted to talk about, and where the heck did I put it is the question. There we go. Okay, 94-year-old is talking about her secret to a long, happy life so far, and her vitality and her youthful spirit. And I don't think most people, the average person, is going to like this. It's working. It's working a lot. This is actually insane. So she's 94. She just retired after she worked 75 years at the same company in Iowa. She was in bookkeeping, in case you're curious. If you asked me to bookkeep, I couldn't last a day. And customer service as well. She says working every day has been the key to her vitality and her youthful spirit. Her name is Ann Schroeder. She still drives a half-ton pickup truck. She lives independently and she enjoys bowling, she says. But wait, she didn't work every day as a bookkeeper. But she says the key is to work every day in general. For 30 of those years, for 30 of those long 75 years, she also spent weekends bartending. When asked about the secret, she did boil it down to one thing, purpose. Because I know you're hearing work every day and you're going, I think even if you like what you do, like I love what I do. I love what I do. And just so you know, when I leave the station every day, I hop on the mic at home and I'm working in my home studio. And I even do it on weekends sometimes. If I can manage to do it, I do it. I love doing what I do. I don't find it to be like a burden in my life. You know what I mean? I'm one of those people, blessed. But even your girl needs a vacation now and again. I don't even know if she took, they probably forced her to have a vacation. And now that I'm really reading this, after 75 years, they probably really forced her out. Like, okay, listen, Anne, we appreciate you, but you're taking a little longer than usual to bookkeep this situation. I think it's sweet. But here's the message about this entire thing that I do think is important. She says, purpose is key in life. For her, working was her purpose, right? So keep that in mind. Working might not be your purpose. I think most people would say that's not my purpose. She says, I really liked my job. She firmly believes in loving what you do, and hence the good message. Don't waste your life stuck in a job you hate. It would be like being in a 50-year marriage if you hated each other. Maybe that's why she's also not, it doesn't say whether she's married in this story or not, but it does say that she lives independently. So maybe the other key is regarding not being in a long-term relationship. I don't know. But hey, 94 years old, retired after working at the same company for 75 years. I don't care who you are. I think that's impressive. I do love hearing everyone's story about longevity and stuff. And I love how different it is. For example, we'll get these down the pipe all the time, right? Doing what we do, we get sent these studies, and sometimes we'll tell you about them because they're cool. Sometimes they're dumb. And we like, why are you guys emailing me this information? I don't care. Nobody cares about this. But when it comes to a 100-year-old talking about their secret, which, I don't know, it's genetics. There's no secret. But whatever. I don't care. I still read it because I find it so interesting that we've got Joan Hashburger over here from Minnesota who says she drinks whiskey every night and smokes a cigar every Saturday. And then we've got Glinda over here that says a healthy salad every day and olive oil, and then she takes a shot of apple cider vinegar or something like that. And then you got Joe over here who says it's sex or something like that. Like, it's wide ranging and it's fascinating to me. But if you took anything from that, great. If not, I don't know. I would love what you do. That's probably the bottom line for that lesson there. Okay, guys, I am going to wrap this up because I do have to go. Like I mentioned, there's likely, unless something goes down real hardcore, there's probably not going to be a pod, because I do have stuff on the go tomorrow. However, I'm going to bring Octavia in, and I'm thinking Thursday is definitely going to be a lot of fun. So look out for that. Have yourselves a good one. And remember, you can listen to the show anytime. We'd love to have you. It's me and Octavia tomorrow. And we play the Know the Show, and we give away 649 tickets on Energy and on The Beat as well. So 91.5 The Beat, Energy 95.3. And if you like all Christmas music, well, guess what? Two of our sister stations are now all Christmas. 106.1 Magic, that's out of 12th. You can look that up. It's all on the iHeartRadio app. And also, you can find it at 103.1 Fresh Radio out of London. All Christmas music. So if you're having a get-together or something, just keep that in mind. We would love to have you listening. Have a good one, friends.
Ahead of Friday's fight between YouTuber Jake Paul and boxing legend Mike Tyson, Netflix streamed a few seconds of Tyson's bare butt. Even worse, a full hour of Jake Paul's face.
1 in 5 American adults get their news from social media influencers. Somehow in 20 years we went from Tom Brokaw to Hawk Tua.
Authorities in Peru recently arrested a man who allegedly tried to smuggle hundreds of live spiders and insects out of the country by strapping them to his body. He might have gotten away with it, except for the fact that he never stopped screaming.